Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. So this is the episode each week where I will try and solve for you the Times Cryptic crossword, today's Times Cryptic crossword, which as usual is the hardest of the week. Let's have a quick look at the stats. The snitch was at about 130, which is certainly up there. The first name there that I think is a real solve is Matthew Marcus Verlaine, 6 minutes 28. That's probably only a bit slower than Matthew's normal time, but look at the jump there. 2 minutes to the next, what I presume is a real time. Mistigris is real. Andrew Fisher, Aphis 99 is real. So there's only a smattering of familiar names, to me at least, in the top few places. And then the times are quite quickly exploding upwards. Let's see if there's a lot of errors today. No, okay, you can still get into the top 100 with a 1 hour solve, providing you've got no errors. Anyway, this is what we're going to have a look at, and I will try and explain my thought processes as we go along. A couple of things to mention before we kick off. I'm going to say a thank you to S, who wrote a very kind email to me. It's actually too kind for me to read out. It will make me shy if I read it out. But S found the channel while studying for final exams at university, and then bonded over cryptic crosswords with her boyfriend's mother, who I think was initially, at least, very good at cryptic crosswords and used to fill them in pencil and rub out the answers to give S a chance to solve them afresh, so to speak. And then S found our videos and watched all of the back catalogue of these Friday masterclasses in a sort of couple of week period, and by the end of that time was able to finish a puzzle, a cryptic crossword, on her own, which is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. And I was very amused at your boyfriend's mother, who we'll call F for these purposes. S and F bought each other a Times Cryptic crossword book for Christmas, which is rather nice. So S, thank you for your email. I did appreciate it. Now, I know today is Valentine's Day, and I was going to read, Alan sent me a poem from the 1953 Punch Annual. I'll read that next week, Alan. Thank you for sending it. I found it amusing, but I thought because it was Valentine's Day, I should do something a bit more love themed in the intro. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you may know I'm a big poetry fan, and my favourite modern poet is Brian Bilston. If you don't know about his poems, just Google him. He is a wonderful, wonderful poet. But on Valentine's Day, he normally tweets about his caveman's lament, and I thought I might read you that. So this is the Caveman's Lament by Brian Bilston. Me think about her when sun rises, me think about her when sun sets, me say to her how much me love her, she tell me love invent not yet. Me make cave all warm and cozy, me lie bearskin on cave floor, me play song of love on bone flute, she choose cave of Tim next door. Me no more go out hunt mammoth, me throw spear too short or long, me sit in cave, me paint her picture, she say me got perspective wrong. Me cook meal to show me love her, diplodocus with fried beans, she say food anachronistic, me not know what this means. Stone Age mighty hard for lovers, yet rub two flints, look what you get. Small sparks lead to big inferno, but she say love invent not yet. And that's by Homo unrequitus, apparently, according to Brian. But I think that's just a lovely poem. So I was going to share it with you. I know it's got nothing to do with crosswords, really, but it's to do with words, and they're similar. Anyway, with that said and done, I've got my dictionary. Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at that. Dictionary is in perfect position. So we're ready to go. Let's get cracking and see how we go. And everything is in the right place on the screen. So one across. Cooks last to assess meat after a strike by one of the hands. Oh, good grief. Okay, let's go through a quick rundown of the principles of all these cryptic clues. They all contain a straightforward definition of the answer. In other words, if we were very, very good at reading these clues, we could translate this puzzle into a quick crossword, into a concise crossword, or if you like, an American-style crossword. And the quick crossword definition is almost always at the start or the end of the clue. So if we look at this clue, it might be a word for cook, or it might be, well, a strike by one of the hands is interesting, isn't it? That makes me think of clocks, like a Big Ben's. No, it can't be that. Okay, what does that mean? If we know that one bit of the clue is going to be the straightforward definition, what's the rest of the clue? Well, that's wordplay. So if you're new to cryptic crosswords, you're probably most familiar with the idea of anagrams and things like that. But anagrams are only a very small subset of the tricks that the constructors like to play. They like to put words in other words. They like to miss letters out of words, things like that. So let's try and read this clue focusing on the middle bit of it, because that's very likely to be wordplay. Last to assess. Well, that makes me think that's the last letter of the word assess. That would be S. Meat. Can we think of any short synonyms for meat? The first one that jumps into my mind is ham. So sham. After a strike. Oh, no, I'm not getting this, am I? We're about to get visited by a low-flying maverick who's going to buzz past my window. Let's try 6 across. Ruler. Suppressed in communists' ardour. Okay, well, we know that one side of the clue is likely to be the definition. So that's either going to be the word ruler or it's going to be the word ardour, because there are no words that mean communists' ardour, for example. That's just silly. So it's going to be either ruler or ardour. Now let's try and work out how we could read the clue such that it has some wordplay in it. Now, ruler suppressed in communist. What could that mean if we're thinking about it cryptically from a purely literal perspective? And when I say literal, I mean from a letter's perspective. What would be the ruler of a word? To me, it's like the first letter. So I'm wondering if this is a 5-letter word for a communist, which could be a real name of a communist, something like Lenin. And we're going to get from that a 4-letter word, which means ardour. And the only word that's jumping into my head there is heat. And this ruler is... oh, goodness me. I mean, ruler suppressed in communists' ardour. Communist can be red, it can be Che, actually, as in Che Guevara. Ruler. A ruler could be a king. So I'm wondering if it could be a word, if there was an 8-letter word for a communist that had king in it, and we were going to remove the king from the 8-letter word. Oh, I'm being useless. Sorry, this is not a good start. Okay, let's carry on. 1 down. Hoax 1 out to become criminal. Hoax 1 out to become criminal. Okay, I don't know what this is. Sometimes you can read these clues as a bit like mathematical equations. So here, I wonder if we could read to become as like the equivalent of an equal sign. So hoax 1 out feels like wordplay to me. So we might be looking for a 9-letter word for a criminal, miscreant or something. Hoax. A hoax is a con, isn't it? So if we put con in, can we get 1 out to become? And then we're looking for a word which means a criminal beginning with con. No, okay, that's not helping me either. Okay, it's not a good start. Let's carry on. That's all we can do. B and B in valley beside river, one not fully occupied. Yeah, Okay, I finally got one. Okay, so again, it's good practice. Try and decide before I speak what you think the definition is in this clue. So let's test it. B&B. It could be B&B, couldn't it? A word for a bed and breakfast. But if you think about that for a moment, are there any words you know which are really good synonyms for a bed and breakfast? Bed and breakfast is an example of a hotel, but it would probably have to say B&B perhaps. So I don't think B&B. Also, B&B is very literal, isn't it? It seems to be saying the letter B and another letter B. It feels more like wordplay. So the other side of the clue is occupied, or perhaps the phrase one not fully occupied. That feels like it could be a definition, one not fully occupied. Now, the constructor, because they've put into this, they're trying to conjure pictures in our brain of a B&B in a valley beside a river. We can all picture that. It feels like a very beautiful thing we're seeing in our minds. Forget all that. These constructors are evil. They put things in your minds, these pictures. They are useless so far as solving the clue is concerned. So one not fully occupied is making us think of that this B&B, this beautiful B&B, might not be full. They might have spare rooms. Forget that. Forget that. It won't have anything to do with the occupancy of a B&B. One not fully occupied needs to be read on its own. It's got a question mark as well, so it might be a bit punny. So let's look back at the start of the clue and see if we can do the wordplay. B&B. Well, if that is literally the letter B and another letter B, we might be looking to put double B in this answer somewhere because it's in. Can we think of any short synonyms for a valley? Well, I can think of one, and that's a dale. So what if it was D-A-B-B-L-E? River can be abbreviated to R. We'll talk about that in a second, but that would give us the word dabbler. And somebody who dabbles in something wouldn't be fully occupied by it, would they? They would be sort of, they would be dabbling in it. And that's the answer. Now, you might say, well, why is river R? It's a good question. Basically, cryptic crossword writers or clue writers are allowed to abbreviate certain words to their initial, only if the dictionary supports the abbreviation. So looking at this clue again, you can't abbreviate valley to V, because if we go to the dictionary and put V in, we can look, V is Vatican City, it's Vartu, the currency of Vanuatu. Did you know that? I didn't. It's the Roman numeral for 5, it's vanadium, it's volt. But what it isn't is valley under any of these headings. Whereas if we go to R and do the same thing, we will find, hopefully, we will find it. It's there. I know it's there. Where is it? River. There it is. So river is there. And that's why this R can be given by the word river. And at least now we're off to the races. It's completely kiboshed my idea of con at the start of that. Let's go back to this then. Hoax with perhaps a D in it. Cod? Is a cod a hoax? Not sure. Oh, my phone's buzzing at me. It's been buzzing all morning. I'm going to ignore that. To become criminal. Hoax. Fiddle. Oh, I quite like the thought of fibble, but fibble? I've got dabble on my mind. A fibble. Let's look at 2 down. Fibble should so be a word. I don't think it is. Let's check. No. There's a fib, but not a fibble. A fibble. It sounds like a small lie. A fibble. 2 down. Book. Probing. Source subject of much SF. Okay. Yeah, this one I've got. Okay, so how might this work? Now, remembering what we just did in the last clue, where we found out that river could be abbreviated to R, are there any words in this clue that you think could be abbreviated? That the dictionary would support an abbreviation for? And the one you have to know here is that B can be book. And that's this B here. So B is probing, so it's inside a word for source, and that gives a subject of much SF, and this is a reference to science fiction. SF is quite a common abbreviation in the literary world for science fiction. So, a subject of much science fiction with a B here, and we need a 4-letter word for a source. The source of something is its root, and so we get robot, and of course we would find robots in science fiction. So let's go 12 across. Network uncovered in top level location. There is a funny word. I mean, this I'm not going to. I'm going to show you the word, but I don't think it's got anything to do with the answer. But it's just out of my brain. REIT, I think, is a network. Oh, bingo! Look at that. I mean, it's got. I think it's going to be that. That is an example of a word that would come up in the listener crossword. But I think it's too obscure to be in a Times crossword, so I'll probably now be proved wrong, but I don't think this is going to be to do with REIT. Network uncovered in top level location. Okay, right. It's a much simpler word for network that we're looking for here, but we have to, again, try and decide what you think the definition is here. Is it network, or is it location, or is it top level location? It's not that easy to know, but the key to this is the word uncovered. And if we think about a word or a phrase being uncovered, what could that mean if we're thinking cryptically? And what you have to realise is if you uncover something, you can imagine something's got a skin or a coat, and you take the coat off it, or you remove the skin from it. So words, because cryptic crossword writers think that a word has a coat, and that's going to be its first and its last letter. So if we uncover the word, we remove the first and the last letter. So actually here what we need is a 7-letter word for a network. We're going to uncover it, we're going to remove its first and last letter to give us a word for a top-level location. And you have to think of the word lattice, I think. And if you think of the word lattice, you can remove its first and last letter and get an attic, which of course is a top level. I mean, that's where I am at the moment. I'm in the attic recording this video. Let's look at 3 down. 13 letters. Satisfied about limiting the French company putting damper on work from home. Company putting damper on work from home. What? I don't know what this is, but you may, if you're new to cryptic crosswords, you may have thought I was reading that in a very stilted way. That's always how I read the clues. I disregard as much as I possibly can the surface meaning of the clue. So I'm not interested in reading this as a sentence. I want to read it as a series of instructions that tell me how to get the answer. So satisfied about. Immediately what I'm thinking is, do I know any short synonyms for satisfied? I know one, met. And so I'm then thinking put met about something. So surround, satisfied about limiting. The French, I'm thinking, is the French word for the. Like le or la. Company, CO. Putting damper on work from home. I don't know. I think this might mean work from home. I'm not immediately grokking that. So let's try 4 down. Top soldier, general. Concealing mistake. Upheld in court. Right. Okay, I haven't got this one. If I was guessing, I would say that this is going to be the name of I was going to say a top soldier like a general, but I'm now wondering if it just might be top. And soldier, concealing a mistake. There are 2 short things for mistake that jump to mind. One of them would be the word which looks quite good here. The other would be an own goal. an OG, sort of a bit modern lingo, but I think it would be accepted as an abbreviation. Upheld as well. So it's a down clue. So if something is upheld, I think that's going to be indicating a reversal. And then caught, there are two things to think about with the word caught. CT is a valid abbreviation for caught. Also, if you court someone romantically, it is Valentine's Day after all, woo. If you woo somebody, you court them. So woo might be relevant. And there's right, which is almost certainly going to be the letter R, as in right and left. So concealing, soldier concealing mistake. See, there are so many short synonyms for soldiers. I don't know. Coronet. Coronet I quite like. Has that got any L? It's got CT and R in it. Let me just put coronet. It's a top in the sense it's a crown. Let me just put that in and just think about it. Top soldier in court. No, I just don't think it quite hangs together. I can't see how grammatically I can construct the word coronet from the instructions we're being given in the clue. So that's disappointing. Should we try? Let's try 14 across. I mean, this is a very long answer. It'd be useful. Map user confused. Okay, let's stop there. Map user confused. To me, if we treat letters in a confused way, we might anagram them. So I'm immediately thinking, is this an anagram of map user somehow? Map user confused about following a topic in scientific discipline. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be the name of a scientific discipline. And then it's going to be an anagram of map user around F, which is a valid abbreviation for following, A, because otherwise what's that A doing in the clue, and topic, theme maybe? Map user. Scientific discipline. No, I'm not getting that either. Look, there's a lot of really long answers in this. Academic mistaking surgeries for ops. Okay. Now, surgeries for ops, is that 15 letters? The answer is yes. So, again, this word mistaking is indicating there's some sort of error, isn't there? And surgeries for ops, again, because I've done these puzzles for a long time, it just... The phrase for ops is just not one you see in written English very often. So it implies, if you think about it that way, okay, why has the constructor used the phrase for ops? There can only be one reason, which is that they need those specific letters. And why would you need specific letters like that? Well, you might be using them for an anagram. So I think this is going to be the name of an academic. So 9-letter word for an academic with these sorts of letters in it. I'm thinking professor. That feels right, doesn't it? Now, what I can't see from that is what I'm left over if I use professor. I can see I've got G and R, I think, and U, and I. Oh, is it Regius Professor or something? Oh, goodness me, is it really? Regius... Oh, my phone's still buzzing at me. Stop it. Regius... So if I cut it there... Professor... I think that's right. Regius Professor. So, okay, that's a good one because we get some starting letters from that. Let's try and use them. 18 down. Fabulous bird. Let's stop right there. Fabulous bird. If you ever see... Oh, gosh, I've just had another thought. It could be Phoenix. Oh, no. It is Phoenix. Okay, I've been totally fooled. If you ever see fabulous bird in a cryptic crossword, you should always be thinking of the famous rock, R-O-C. I presume it's going to be in the dictionary. Rock. There we go. The enormous bird described in Arabian legends, strong enough to carry an elephant. Well, which also has those weird other spellings, which actually I didn't know. But so I immediately was thinking, okay, I'm going to be putting rock in here. However, I then thought there is another fabulous bird that begins with P, which is phoenix. And look, this has got in pictures, and pix is a good word for pictures, isn't it? So that's going to be right. Now, why? Chicken. Okay, so it's a chicken, which is a hen. Capturing duck, which is a 0. Why is duck 0? It's because if you get a duck score in cricket, if you get out for a duck, you get a score of 0. And the letter O and 0 are considered synonymous. If we look at, if we look under the word O, for O is a word, as well as being sort of a letter. Here, it'll be here somewhere. Naught or nothing. There we go. So that's why that's legitimately describing a duck. And then pictures, pix. I think we're probably all familiar with PIX being an abbreviation for. Now we get an X there. We must use that. Former lover. Your former lover is your ex. Clearly gutted. Okay, let's stop there. Clearly gutted. If we gut something, what do we do? In a literary sense, from thinking about the letter's perspective, we're going to remove the innards of something, aren't we? So clearly gutted, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take out the middle of the word clearly, and that's going to give me CY. X. All right, this might not be looking such like a word, but I think that. Oh, about. So CY is going about, so let's put it about. Writer, having long, hidden desirability. I think this is going to be desirability. Exclusive, no. Desirability. Excellency? Is excellency the same as desirability? And if it is, why is it that? About writer having long hidden. I don't know. I don't think that's right. I think it's something like that, but I don't think it's quite right. Let's leave the C and the Y there and have a look at 19 down. Male interrupting individual mid-performance. Right. I don't know. Mid-performance, I feel like that's if something's ongoing, but that's so bad with a G here. Mid-performance. Male can just be the letter M. That is a valid abbreviation for male. But a male could be a he, or it could even be just a boy's name. I mean, that would be vicious, but it could be. Interrupting individual. If something is individual, it's done by an individual is one. O-N-E. So I quite like that thought. Mid-performance. On. It couldn't be on stage, could it? Stag can be male. Actually, that's probably right. So that's one for the individual. And then a word for males, if you go to a stag do, it would be a male party, wouldn't it? So, and if it's happening on stage, it would be mid-performance, which is probably why the question mark is there, because it's a slightly unusual way of thinking about that word. But I think it feels right. So let's have a look at 24 across. Insulting our group in a bad vibe. Insulting. That is going to be... Yes, okay, I've got this. It's a very clever clue, actually. I like clues like this because once you see how they work, they're very clear. But actually, yeah, it's sort of it just feels like it mathematically it fits together very nicely, this series of words. So again, try and decide what you think the definition is. And if you said the word insulting, well done, that's correct. We're looking for a 7-letter word, which means insulting. Now let's look at the rest of it then. our group. Can we think of a short synonym for our group? Our group of people is us, isn't it? So we need to put us in a bad vibe. Now this is instructive just from the perspective of what is this letter A doing in the clue. Let's reread the clue without the A. Insulting our group in bad vibe. Well, that means almost exactly the same as insulting our group in a bad vibe. So why is the A there? It's there because it's necessary for the wordplay, because it is that A in the answer. So what we've got here, bad vibe is saying, there's a siren going past. Bad is being used as an anagram indicator, so we need to anagram the word vibe. So we need to put us in A and an anagram of vibe. And if we do that, you can, I think you'll all have got that already, you can make abusive, which is insulting. Now, should we go for 11 down? Okay, let's see. Interstellar travel target. Alpha Centauri or something? No, maybe not. Adjusted at pre-launch. Excellent to adopt that. Well, it is Alpha Centauri, isn't it? Because if you're adjusting the letters of at pre-launch, I can see you've got a lot of Alpha Centauri in there, especially as excellent. Can you think of an abbreviation for saying something is excellent? 2 letters. And the abbreviation is A1. If something is A1, it's excellent. And in Cryptic Crossword land, that can be because the letter I is synonymous with the number 1. You can think of that from a Roman numeral perspective, if you like. A and I is the same as excellent. So now what I've got to do is work out how to spell this. Alpha Cent. That U feels like it's in the wrong place to me. So what letter is it I've missed? Alpha Cent. Hang on. I know that's going to be an R. How is it? What letter is this? Alpha Cent. What? Alpha? Oh, have I got too many A's? Oh, so it's that, is it? Alpha Centauri. Oh, I see how the way I've pronounced that. I've always pronounced it Alpha Centauri. And that's not helping me, is it? But I think there are 2 A's in at and pre-launch, and there's definitely an A in A1. So I think we need 3 A's, which will put another A there. So hopefully that's right. 21 across. Reduced pace of horse on course. The pace of a horse is a trot, isn't it? Oh, this is a golf one. That's great. I fully approve of all golf-related clues. Okay, so we're going to pace of horse. Well, I think there are, what do you get? Canters, trots, gallops, walk, maybe. I don't know if there's another one. But if we're going to reduce one of those, it's going to be the one beginning with T. We're going to take most of the word trot and we're going to cut off its last letter. So that's what reduce is doing. You might see that as cut as well. If you see the word cut in a clue, it means just chop off the last letter. So, TRO, what's the word on doing? Well, literally, we're just going to write on in. And we get Troon. And Troon is a golf course where they sometimes hold the Open. So, I've never played Troon. I would love to. Let's go on to 22 down. I tucked into band item with spinning head. I tucked into band item with spinning head. The weird thing about this clue is that I'm reading it now and I'm not sure I understand what the definition is. Because I being tucked into something seems to say put the letter I into something else. But there can't be a word which means with spinning head. With spinning head also feels like wordplay to me, so it feels like the whole clue is wordplay. A band item with spinning taboo? No. Head. Onion. Your onion is your head. No. Oh, goodness, that's tricky. Okay, it's onion. So, with spinning head, you've got to in order to understand the clue, we have to cut the clue after the word spinning, which is very hard to do, at least I thought it was. So, and how does it then work? I, that's this I, is tucked into banned item. Now, a banned item is a no-no, believe it or not, and that with spinning, so you turn around no-no, it becomes on. You put I in the middle, you get onion, and your onion is sort of a slang word for your head. Let's have a look at that. Onion. The head. It's the last one there. Slang. So onion. Oh dear. Oh. What's this then? Desirability. Oh, okay, that C's wrong. We're going to put the C there, aren't we? That feels like a much more. So we need writer, pen, expediency. Oh, that's tricky. There's a lot going on there. Right. Okay. I mean, this is about as complicated as a clue could be. Former writer, that's your X. Clearly gutted, gut the word clearly. That's this CY, because X and CY are being put about something. I thought it was going to be CY being put about something, but it's actually X plus CY in brackets being put around something, if you see what I mean. That goes about. A writer, well, something you write with would be a pen. But the writer has hidden, so the writer then, the word pen, P-E-N, hides, it includes a word for long. And if you long for something to happen, you die for it to happen. D-I-E. So there's container upon container in that clue. Very complicated wordplay to give expediency, which is desirability. That's very hard. Let's try 16 down. Wandering figure, adopting new set unexpectedly, strangely. I mean, stray is a wandering figure. Yeah, I've got this one. Okay, so this is strangely. Why? Wandering figure is a stray. That's adopting new, which is that N. N is a valid abbreviation for new. And then if something sets in a sort of cooking sense, it gels, doesn't it? So gel is being used there. So stray goes around N plus gel to give strangely. Again, tricky, especially on that clue. If you did look at adopting new set and you thought that's an anagram of set inside something, well done. That is a totally sensible way to read the clue. It's a difficult clue, and it's trying to be obtuse, but that would be a very natural reading of that clue. I'm going to go for 20 down because I get 3 starting letters if I get it. Shade insensitive to neglect new artist. So it's probably the name of an artist. Why do I think that? Well, this might be a bad thought actually. I'm now thinking of Umbra. It is Umbra. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a bit going on in this one as well. So, 5-letter artists. I'm immediately thinking Degas, Manet, Monet. Oh, there's a whole raft of them, and one of them will be right. So I'm sort of trying to think about how the rest of the clue might work. Then my brain, and especially as neglecting new, because N is a valid abbreviation for new. We've just seen that in strangely, but there it is. I'm thinking neglect new just means remove an N from something. So I'm going to come up with a 6-letter word, shade insensitive, take an N out, I'm going to get the name of an artist. Then I had a subsidiary thought, which is, if you've been watching these videos for a while, you will be familiar with this and my inability to say the word. Artist, if you see it in a cryptic crossword, you should be aware that it might be symbolising R.A., a member of the Royal Academy. The technical abbreviation is Royal Academician, I think. I always really struggle to say that, but let's go and have a look. Royal Academician. So then my brain said, oh, could I be putting RA at the end of something to give me a shade? Now a shade is, I mean, a technical word for a shade is an umbra. So let's put in umbra, which has this RA at the end, and then you can see if you're insensitive, you're numb, aren't you? And if numb neglects its N, we just get So umbra, and umbra, let's go and look it up, is a shade. So umbra, a shadow. So I mean that's the answer, and we get all of these starting letters now. Let's try this. Unanimous, unanimous would work. Well, like complete agreement. So it's going to be unanimous. The international body, cryptic crossword writers like this. The UN, that comes up quite a lot. Hostility, animus. Yeah, okay. So animus. Oh, sorry, animus. A-N-I-M-U-S. Animus. If you show animus to somebody, you show enmity. Let's look at that word, because that's slightly unusual. There we go. Animus. From the Latin. Oh. Hang on. I'm wrong then. I thought that was hostility. As in like animosity. Oh, that's really weird. I'm a bit thrown by that. I thought hostility was. So what I was going to say is animus, A-N-I-M-U-S, having secured nothing. Well, we just saw under O that O can symbolize nothing. Like complete agreement, well, unanimous describes that exactly. But animus. Why? What have I not? Okay, there's something wrong with... Let's look up animosity and see where that comes from. It doesn't have the same Latin root, does it, as animus? Intention. Oh, hostility. There, it is there. Sorry, I just couldn't read it. Okay, that's relief. I thought I was going mad. Sorry, you've all been shouting at me. That's completely fair. 23 across. Curse, revs, way of projecting hurtful things. A way of projecting hurtful things, question mark. That's interesting. That makes me think of like a sling like David and Goliath. You know, David had a sling, and that he would use the sling to project the hurtful things, the stones. So I'm wondering if this is something like, you know, a word for something that throws or fires things. Curse. Bane. A bane is a curse. Rev. Oh, come on, Simon. Curse, revs. Way of projecting hurtful things. A reverend. I don't know. There are short synonyms or short abbreviations for people of the church. DD sometimes comes up, Doctor of Divinity. But Rev itself is a good one. So I'm wondering if this might be rev as in if you rev a car engine or something like that. Curse. I don't know. That one's intrigued me. Let's have a look at 25. Top part of church. Apse. Lacking second cross. Yeah. Okay. So can we think of any parts of churches beginning with A? Well, the thought I had immediately was apse. I didn't think that apse was a top part of a church, but I was prepared to believe it. But let's look at the rest of the clue. Part of church lacking second. Well, S is a valid abbreviation for second. So if we take the word, or the letter S, we just get ape. And then a cross, if you put a cross on a piece of work, if you're a teacher, you would give it an X. And that gives us apex, and an apex is certainly the top of something. So apex is going to be right. Now let's go to this one. Set up graduate function. It's a complicated process. Okay, I don't I haven't understood the wordplay of this, but I can certainly think of a 9-letter word that's a complicated process that would go in here. And that's the word rigmarole. Now, why is that right? Set up, if you rig something, you set it up. A graduate is a Master of Arts. So graduate could be MA, it could be BA, but here it's MA. And a function, if you have a function, you have a role. So that is how that one works. Let's go to 23 across again. Curse. Revs. Is a rev a brother or something? Bro? Way of projecting hurtful things. A gun? Oh, I think I'm missing a trick or two there. And what was this one? Oh, we thought this was an anagram, didn't we? It's going to be the name of a scientific discipline. Attics, it might end. Although that doesn't look great. Following a topic. Following a topic. In scientific discipline. Come on. Okay, let's go back. This kidnapper would fit for one down. A criminal is a kid. Hoax is a kid, isn't it? If you kid somebody, you hoax. One out. Okay, if you're out, you might be unconscious. You'd be sleeping. So you would be a napper. Somebody taking a nap. That's not easy. So we get kidnapper. Now, what's this one then? What's this first word? Pure mathematic. Pure mathematician? Scientific. Pure mathematics. It must be pure mathematics. I don't understand why yet. Okay, so why? That's got an anagram. Sam. Yeah, so pure MAS is what's going around. Thematic, following a topic. If something's following a topic, it's thematic. Very nice. Very clever. So it was nothing to do with F being an abbreviation for following. It actually had the word thematic being defined in the middle of it. And pure mathematics goes in. I would have liked to do more pure mathematics when I was younger. Anyway, one across. Cooks last to assess meat after a karate chop or something. A strike by one of the hands. It might be karate chop. Karate chop. That's got a chop is a piece of meat. Why? Oh, cook's last is K, isn't it? I thought it was going to be the last letter to assess rather than cook's last letter. That apostrophe does allow for that. To assess is to rate. Meat is a chop. After A, so that's this A. After A is saying, after this A, put a word for assess, rate, and a word for some meat, chop. And therefore the definition is strike by one of the hands, karate chop. Very nice. Now, I'm looking at this because I'm thinking I ought to be able to get it without recourse to the clue, because there can be only one possible word that fits here. I don't know. What is it then? I'm not sure. Satisfied about limiting the French company. The French company is going to be CO there, and that's probably le, I think. Oh, satisfied about is met. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the start of this. Satisfied is met, and that is about. So it's reversed, and that limits. So that then contains the French le. Co for company. Muting, telecommuting. If you're muting, you're putting damper on something, is muting it, isn't it? Telecommuting. Oh, is that a phrase for working from home then? I can sort of see how it might be. I bet that's quite a modern word. I bet that's not in the dictionary. I'm going to look it up. I'm not changing it, so I feel no guilt about Telecommute. Oh no, it is. To work from home. It's there. So this word's been around for ages. And this dictionary I'm using, this electronic version of Chambers, has been around for about 20 years, I think. I wonder if there's a way of telling how long this information... Here we go. There, look at that. Over 20 years old. So working from home, telecommuting was there. I find that quite surprising. Oh, so what's this then? Curse revs. That must be gun, mustn't it? If you gun an engine. Oh yeah, okay, so it's a type of gun. I'm not very good at types of gun. What is it then? Curse. A way of projecting a blowgun? A curse is okay. If you say blow, that would be a curse. It's a very mild curse, but it's a sort of curse you might hear on Cracking the Cryptic. Oh, blow. Blowgun. Yeah, that's a way of projecting hurtful things. I think that's fine. I'm going to go for blowgun. Oh, coronet still works here. Oh, well, let's look at N then for this one. Perfect excuse. Briefly put forward around end of November. And this might be an N. I mean, end of November. Don't be thinking, that's the end of the month November. No. It's going to be the end of the word November. It's almost certainly R, I would think. Which would mean that this is going to be a 9-letter word meaning perfect or perfect excuse. Probably perfect. An excuse briefly might be an alibi. With it, if you treat something briefly, you might be cutting off the last letter. Alib. Don't like that. Put forward. Propose. Posit. Promote. Perfect excuse. None something. None. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Have we ever looked at this one? No. That one looks like a hidden, is it? Or not? No, maybe it's not. Fear. Being overwhelmed by germ in algae seaweed? Or. Yeah, okay. Seaweed is the answer there, algae being the definition. And then fear is or, A-W-E, and that's being overwhelmed by, so consumed by, a 4-letter word for germ, and the germ is the seed of something, as in germinate rather than germ as in bacteria. So what have we got here? On stage again. That won't happen. A vulgar science graduate. Last to apologise, interrupts joke. Vulgar. Obscene? It must be obscene. Bachelor of Science or something is what's going on there, isn't it? So, science graduate, I think, is BSc. Last to apologise is E, that E there, and that all interrupts one. Now you may say, and it would be totally legitimate if you're new to Cryptic Crosswords, how on earth is one, the word one, synonymous with joke? And it's because of phrases like, tell me another one. That would mean tell me another joke, wouldn't it? So if we look under one in the dictionary, we will find joke. Let's go and have a look. Now we won't find it and I'll feel silly, but I think that's where it's from. A joke there. A joke as in the one about. Yeah, okay, so the one. Tell me the one about something. Now, okay, so that's... Oh, N here looks absolutely horrible now. Let's have a look at this again then. Top soldier. Corporal or something? I'm very bad at my soldiers, generally. Concealing mistake. Upheld. In court. Oh, correct. Maybe right is the definition. Oh, I like that idea. That's going to be right, I think. Okay, so Y. Oh, phone's going again. Who's that one from? Actually, I better just check that one. That's okay, yeah, that's fine. Top soldier. So in court is going to be CT. Concealing mistake. Mistake is upheld. Oh, is it officer in command or something? Or yeah, okay. I think top soldier. Oh, maybe it's commanding officer. Oh, God, yeah, okay, I like that more. I think CO can be abbreviated to commanding officer, which would be a top soldier. That conceals, so it contains, a word for a mistake, which is to err. And that's all upheld, so that whole thing is reversed inside an abbreviation for court, which is CT, to give correct. And if something is correct, it is right. I mean, it's very difficult, really, really complicated. Perfect, exemplary is now probably right. I don't know why, but let's put it in and see if we can justify it. Excuse briefly put forward around end of November. So where's the R? There. To put forward is to excuse briefly. Is that you do some exemplay? Hang on, I haven't understood this yet. Excuse briefly put forward. If you put forward something, you propose it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is right. Hang on, let's get rid of all this nonsense. Let's try and get the down ones. 8 down. Friend, heading off, after run, glowing with health. Okay. So, from cricket scoring, you need to know that run can be abbreviated to R. That's very important. It comes up all the time. So, friend heading off. You should be thinking, can I think of a word for a friend? Can I take the first letter off? Now, there are loads of short synonyms for friends. Ally would be one. Pal would be a better one. But here, that D might help you. What we're actually looking for is a buddy. So if we take the head off the word buddy and put it after R, we get ruddy. And if you're glowing with health, you sort of have a ruddy glow, don't you? Now, what's this one? Oh, this was the ruler. Tsar? Oh, it's just a hidden. Oh, dear. Okay, ruler suppressed in communists' ardour. Well, it's actually quite thematic, isn't it? Sort of communists came sort of just after the Tsar. So, TSAR, hidden, in. So, suppressed in. You will literally find the answer spelt out, TSAR. I should have got that much quicker, but it wasn't really that. There were so many other ways of thinking about that clue. 7 down. Dramatic outlines. That could be an anagram of outlines. Call for assistance. SOS. About translation of Racine. Okay. So a call for assistance is going to be SOS. And looking at the letters we've got here, it looks like that's going to go like that. And then a translation of Racine is, I think, saying anagram Racine to give dramatic outlines, and they are scenarios. So this is going to be exemplary, but I'm not happy with that until I understand it. Excuse briefly. An excuse is exempt. Put forward. Exemplar. Around end of November. That must be that R. I mean, excuse briefly. Could that be EX for some reason? I don't know. To put forward could be to emplay. No, I just don't know that as a word. I mean, I don't think that's right. Excuse briefly put forward. If you play something, do you put it forward? Don't think so. Or put forward lay. Do you lay a motion in a sort of exempt? Oh, okay. So is it exempt? If you exempt something, do you excuse it? Perhaps you do. So exempt briefly. So take the T off. Put forward lay, around R being the end of November, and that would give us exemplary. So that, I'm not going to change that. Let's see if we can see anything there. So to grant immunity, that would be to excuse, wouldn't it? So exempt looks good, and then put forward lay. Let's see, there's a lot of definitions here. To put forward it's right here, look. So exemplary is going to be right, and I think we're done. Now we've got some odd letters. We have got an X. Did we have a Q though? I don't think I recall us seeing a Q or a J, so I'm not sure we're looking at a pangram today. But we did benefit from a very nice puzzle with Submit Without Leaderboard. We were not racing, and now we'll see if we made any errors. No, we're all good. We're all good, and that is today's Times Cryptic crossword, solved without much. Well, I was going to say without much efficiency, but at least we got it. We got it done, and hopefully you can see that the process of solving that it's very far from linear. It's very rare you go through one of these cryptic puzzles and you look at one across, you solve it. You look at one down, you solve it. It is very much a case of making use of the checking letters. And you'll even see that with the very best solvers. So, you know, if you watch Mark solve, quite often the early part of the solve doesn't look that different from, you know, somebody like me, because without the checking letters, the very best solvers they're solving cold. But where they will accelerate is that as soon as they get any checking, they have a sort of T-like ability. T is this software created by Ross Beresford back in the day, where you could just put in a string of letters. So let's say you had, you know, in this one you knew the D and the R, but you didn't know the middle 5 letters. It would give you all of the possible words, and that is something that the very best solvers have a freakish ability to sort of just, you know all the possible words that can go into that 7-letter string if you've got a D and an R, and then it's a different process you're going through to solve the clue, because all you're really doing then is looking at the rest of the clue and thinking, double B, well, it's going to be dabbler then. You know, it's a different sort of process you have to go through mentally. Anyway, what I like to do now is go for the quick crossword or the quick cryptic and see if we can do ourselves a bit of damage with that. I won't talk too much here. I'll try and go fast. Let's see how we go. Let's get cracking on this one. European bridge, one leading to a road. Something Spaniard is the answer. A university somewhere in South America. Peru? Yeah, that is actually right. Those are both not easy. I'm pleased with both of those. Inspectors finally have the power to examine closely as to scan fruit and a grain as an acorn. 3 down. Misguided main intent of light-hearted news shows fruits don't know. Runner finally running relay remarkably well. Don't know. Educated leader from Estonia, impolite about erudite is the answer there. Measure developed to protect new login information. Username is the answer to that one. True haters awfully bored by a French game. Don't know, should know, but don't. A dessert turned cold. You are aloof. After extremely routine, heavy defeat, we ultimately is to reroute. Art exhibit. Everyone enters in use. Installation will be the answer there. Mythical creature that is alongside Headland Nessie. Take advantage of being housed in silent museum, it must be. Lady in Burgundy produced white wine containing Madame Mousse. Oh, it's going to be, I never know how to spell it. It's going to be this. It's something like that, but I think that might be made. I always misspell that. Vivacious friend taken in by an idea, only half form vivacious. Don't know. What? I want to look at this one. Misguided. In light-hearted news shows. Infotainment. Oh, that's vicious. Infotainment. What? What's this one then? Weapon sidearm. I just believe it's sidearm. It feels right. Name given to threads in fabric. Don't know. Second. Oh, latte. Drives somewhat begrudgingly. Urge. That's a hidden reversal. Oh, okay. What's this? Rarely? Yes. What's that? Creature something? No. True haters awfully bored by a French. True haters. Treasure. Treasure something? Game. Treasure. French game. I don't know. A French oon. Oh no, 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 no. I want it to be treasure something. I don't think it is. I'm going to have to get this one. Club failing to putter without its another golf one. Unsigned bands. Music made money to some extent. A demo, I think. Sort of sweater, eye knotted. Sort of. As it were. Okay. Oh, no. No, no, no. True, what is it? It's the name of a game. All I've got to do is get it. Something suit? No. Treasure hunts, you silly, silly. I mean, that's appalling. That is unforgivable. Student welcoming drops in support on course. Trainee. That's quite a difficult clue. Name given to threads in fabrics. Linens? Threads lines? I suppose they are. And that's this. Unemoted, vivacious. Animated is probably the answer, isn't it? Animated. Okay. I'm not sure whether I spelt Mademoiselle right. I'm going to go for it. It's correct. 16th. Terrible. Terrible. I mean, treasure hunt. That must have cost me 15 seconds, maybe more. And that should have been an absolute write-in. So would I have... I mean, these... Well, Chloe Hutton, that's a real time. 2 minutes 30. That is sick. Because that I didn't think that was easy. I mean, I made a complete Horlicks of the back end of it. But I think Spaniard and Peru, I wasn't that slow on those. So I think at the top I wasn't dreadful. But yeah, admittedly I was dreadful after that. But I there's no way I could conceivably have got anywhere near 2 minutes 30. That is very depressing. Very depressing. Oh, to have one's brain exposed in public again. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy these masterclass videos, please do let us know. Drop a like. Please subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. A kind comment wouldn't go amiss. We would really be grateful for those too, and try and teach the algorithm something about the fact that I think a lot of people do enjoy cryptic crosswords, or could enjoy cryptic crosswords if they could understand them. And that is why we do these, is because it's hard to understand them in isolation. Unless you've got a relative or a friend who can teach you, it's very hard to learn this stuff from books. and you no longer have to. Anyway, Jalna, that puzzle was by. That's a new name to me. Very good, Jalna. I enjoyed it. Anyway, let us know, as I say, how you got on. We enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.